please don't make Imu a cliche character. We have something that has been foreshadowed, built upon decades of One Piece lore, from the pre-timeskip era of them building up from a low level to mid-level to high level of how this world works, from the navy to the admirals to the system of the world governments to the CP0s and CP9s, etc., to the five elders, and then finally reaching the pinnacle of Imu. So he's been built very differently over such a long period of time, and even after his introduction it took us an extra 8.5 years to see what he looked like, because before that he was just a shadow in our eyes and our main characters didn't even know he existed. So Imu really broke the pattern of One Piece villains. Usually the villains are dominating physically or ideologically. Look at Doflamingo and his idea of control, or Kaido and strength, etc. But Imu is different. He doesn't just rule through presence, he also rules from absence. The empty throne was supposed to symbolize no single ruler, yet Imu exists. That contradiction is the point. The world believes in balance but is secretly being controlled. That's the genius and the disgusting reality of everything about it. Imu is not just a character, Imu is the lie the world is built on. And then you look at Imu's design. One Piece has always been known for their wacky or out there character designs, and Imu, look, you can say he looks cool, some might say he doesn't look cool, but the main point is he looks unsettling. Imu doesn't just look powerful, but he just looks wrong. He doesn't look heroic, he looks like a monster, but not in a typical way, more in a unnatural way. You got the Lunarian-like skin, historically a hunted race, the Oni-like horns, a Kaido parallel, potentially non-human proportions. He looks like a giant. The contrast is that the world government is supposed to equal order and purity, yet Imu equals visual chaos and multiply erased races. So Imu just might represent the accumulation of erased histories, not one being but a fusion of what the world rejected, what the world was, what the world shouldn't be, because there's a forbidden irony. Imu resembles what the government destroyed, supposedly. The world government erased the Lunarians, erased the buccaneers, enslaved them and took away their lineage. The fishermen were systematically discriminated against. The giants were feared because of their power, and they were always said, they're savages, they're brutes, and therefore you shouldn't look at them in a positive light, even though Herald tried so much. Yet Imu visually echoes a lot of these traits, and the point is that Imu is proof that these races were never inferior. Were these races superior? Were they coming from a singular line that used to sit atop the world, used to rule humanity? Or the wacky idea, is this even Imu's real body? What if the government didn't actually destroy these races, but they harvested them for Imu to become what he is? Imu is not just a king, but he's the final product of 800 years of control, of evolution. But the main crux is Nerona Imu was one of the 20 monarchs from 800 years ago that started the world government. Many, including myself, thought that Imu might be a female, but as a confirmed male, and the obsession with Luffy aka Nika, Blackbeard aka Davy Jones, and Vivi, who resembles or has a connection to her ancestor Lily, you wonder, are we going to get a cliche love triangle which jaded Imu 800 years ago that made him into the thing that he is right now? Was there a love triangle between Imu, Joy Boy, and the mermaid princess, or Lily? Because I'm telling you, mate, that is cliche. And after the hype, the build up for Imu and then Imu's reveal, I think that's going to be quite disappointing. Now, many of you might say, nah, that's not disappointing. It's actually beautiful because it's showcasing how jealousy, love can unravel and spiral into a worldwide craziness, and how bad it can really get. Yeah, sure, you're right about that. A lot of conflicts in the world or in history are from very small matters or simple matters. But I wouldn't want that for Imu. Let's make Imu more layered. I can accept the fact that we'll eventually get the hero vs villain trope between Luffy and Imu. Luffy being freedom without structure, chaos that creates joy. Imu being control without visibility, order that erases identity. But the point is that there is that extra layer of ideology between Imu and Luffy that kind of makes it compelling, interesting enough to justify the hero versus villain, and you can root for the hero to overcome the villain. I get that, that's fine. Because it's not just good versus evil, it's freedom versus stability, and it's idea versus idea, which is what makes a good story. I'm talking about Imu's character. If he is driven because of a grudge from 800 years ago, stemming from some sort of rejection or some sort of love triangle that went wrong, that's quite cliche. I know that Oda likes to pull from ancient mythology throughout the world. He likes to base his characters off historical figures. And with the world government, with the God's Night and the way that Imu is working, and you have the deep sea covenants and the deep sea covenants, they echo the occult. You have the pentagram, it echoes the deal with the devil, demonic possession, and secrets hidden in plain sight. But if we were to peel all that back and we find out it's all because Imu was rejected 800 years ago, come on now. Come on now. There is an opportunity to really break the system and make One Piece a untouchable piece of media. It already is, but make it as untouchable as it gets, because there is so many directions that they can go with the Imu character because of the build up and the lore and the system that surrounds Imu that has been developed over the decades. We don't need a sympathetic devil. We don't have to have a sympathetic devil, because the beauty of One Piece right now is we don't have a two-player system. There's also Blackbeard who represents Davy Jones. So we have these powers that are in conflict, but they're not overpowering each other. And it could go either way. And whichever direction it goes, it can either be, wow, that was great, or what a letdown. The danger with popular media is that you're always remembered by the ending. Be it a person, be it a character, be it a story. The ending is what will define something, anything. I hope, however they close Imu's character, however they justify Imu's intentions, however they showcase Imu's motives, it isn't cliche, because cliche is something that One Piece unfortunately has been riddled with due to the fact that it's been going on for such a long time. It can be argued that One Piece has very similar story beats that it has to hit, and they are repeated over and over again throughout the arcs. Some hate it, some love it, some haven't noticed it, some don't mind it, but I promise you, they will mind it if Imu becomes a cliche character. For almost 8 years, he remained a shadow, only for us to be introduced to his design. So the build up to Imu is unmatched in any other media I've ever seen. The scrutiny that Imu has is special. The character of Nerona Imu is dancing on a line so fine due to the hype, the build up, and everything around him. So judge him with that same standard. He's judged differently. And it's not wrong to expect something. It's not wrong to want a high caliber, a high level of quality from this character. Not only is it not wrong, it's expected, it's demanded. So tell me, how would you make Imu not cliche? Or what would make Imu cliche?